I'm getting so much work to do right now. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I don't have one. I just, yeah, I just hope particularly that, you know. Oh, okay. Yeah, something for that property, but I mean, I literally hundreds of properties, so.
Yeah. Hi. Hello, Cheryl. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, she was the one that was fun, and this is really. Yes, yeah, it was awesome. Yes. We are, but I just wanted to, I mean, I know we're on, that's why I'm talking about. Oh, really? Yes. So then the part where we come up and see we don't sign it. That's the very beginning. Oh, is that the very beginning? Our term was public is like that, and we don't see that local, so when and then public is everyone not. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. All right, thank you. I have to be able to find out. I sit in the office, you know, like this is the I have so much. Yeah.
That is lagged. It's very lagged. Hey, I'm doing good. How are you, John? I know. We've been telling them apparently City Hall has the gap controls here, but the rest of the library is controlled by something else.
Me, Tim's like, that freaking Whitmer, turn down again.
Oh, conspiracy.
It's okay, we'll fix that tomorrow, won't we? So you don't have to say anything, just let me go away. Well, we will be fixing that tomorrow.
That's how it's gonna be, I think that's gonna be the whole city. I think.
Hi. You know, we had a cleanup in your neck of the woods on Saturday. I didn't see you. That makes sense.
You got a District 4 cleanup?
Kind of like a joint District 3 and 4 for the neighborhood behind Dillon's at 47.
Mayor bring some of his rental properties already, try and dump it this time?
He did not. He came and helped though.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He bring a cigar,
No.
try and jump the line? I'm like a dog with a bone.
Oh,
Jim, how are you?
I am marvelous. How's that yourself?
I'll be better tomorrow. I'll be better tomorrow. Maybe 9:30. If we're lucky, maybe 9. Then we get results.
At 9 in the morning?
No, 9 in the morning at night.
Oh, okay.
Right about the time they some.
Are you running for one of the offices?
No, I'm waiting to see, results.
Me too. I tell a lot about how many more of these meetings I for.
Well, I don't, this one's.
I don't know.
I've seen the advanced ballot, I mean, right now.
I still got all of them.
So,
All right, go.
in District 4. Basically. From advanced ballots and in-person voting. The Democrats, 1311, Republicans, 1,300, unaffiliated, 240. And that's advanced, and Republican voter turnout is usually 3-1. So, don't. In District 2, Becky Tuttle is up by almost 600 votes. In District 5, the Republicans up by about the same, and citywide. Lily Wu is currently down by 11 heads. So the Democrats are up by about 1,000 votes. Unaffiliated are, if they're breaking traditionally, then it's probably tied with advance and mail.
Yeah.
But then again, you have day of voting, which is predominantly Republican, probably breaks 3-1 or 4-1. So you could have all of the races. I'll bet you the 3 city council races are probably called by 8:30 or 9 o'clock at the latest. I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 city council races are called by the mayor's race is called by 9 or 9. The ruling will be by and verify Tuesday. That's my.
Well, boy.
Based on the numbers so far. Because it's all numbers, it's at this point, it's fake. It's these numbers, 24,743 votes so far.
Okay. Oh, that's so- I thought they-
It's all public data,
Oh, is it?
24,743 people have already been.
Jeez.
How many voted last time? I don't have that data, I just have what's in so far.
On TV, they're saying 60,000 voted last time.
This,
It was over 60,000. That was at the
but
last.
that was also valued in vote, that was a significantly different one.
Yeah.
This is much more typical. And these are really good numbers for us. Yeah, these are, this includes, this is today. We're, I mean, right there, that's a. Yeah. So, Becky's already. Becky's already. By almost 600. The only one that I think she meant, but. You.
Becky, Alex is online, so if you want to move up to that seat, you're welcome to.
Becky, how are you? Me too. We're not, you know, I'm 4 days. It's good exercise, but expensive. It's, I did so much over the years, and I haven't doing this much, and then you started doing it again. My calves are sore with me. Well, it's a good exercise.
This is the first year that I haven't got to the water. It's not her.
Well, it's much better now. It's a lot easier now.
Then I've been just like, I've had so much work that
Yeah, I've got stories in July and I'm much better more now.
yeah.
And today we did 3 walk floats and we did about 150 dollars. No, we're in. We were in like Rise.
Oh, yeah. That's no best.
Yeah, but we're actually not in two layers, right? I think it's probably it's the Jersey project. Don't sit down, but the responsibility. My house responsibility. Pardon me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. What can we do? Take a lucky guess. That would be a lucky guess. I just want to be on something. Although I will say, I will miss him because he's been great father on the radio. But still has good life. Or at least. I think he's great.
Hey, Dalton.
Yep.
We do have a city staff person juggling dabs tonight on the website redesign. If he isn't here, it's second, maybe we skip it and come back.
Okay, that's fine.
He'll either try to zoom in or come in person, just FYI. Of course, thank you.
Do you want to say wide or do you want which one? I want to be 4 when I have everything else. You just want to be 4? Yeah. Well. This is. Make that.
Good evening, everyone. We'll call this meeting to order at 6:30. If you would stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. It's nice to see a packed room. We will start with introductions, actually, before we do the agenda or approval agenda or minutes. So we'll go around, introduce every person a part of GAB, so you know who we are and where we live. So, Jim, let's start with you.
Jim Kelly, 47th and Broadway.
Alex 50th, Connie Reedy.
Becky Jerry, I'm at, Newland Parker.
Always now I'm at 119th and Pond.
John Whitmer, I'm at 135th. Dalton Glasscock, Maple and Seneca, near Prince University. Jeff Duval, Southern Ridge, Wichita City Council, Ray and Pond. And then June and Alex, since you're joining us via Zoom. Judy, you're muted. June, you're still muted.
Ah, got it? Can you hear me? Still
Yes.
can't hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I am at Mason Kellogg, Caskin neighborhood.
And then Alex, are you with us?
Yes, I'm near Seneca and Pawnee.
Awesome, thank you. I know Jeff likes to do that to show how diverse the district is, and how large the district is as well. So we'll move on to the approval of the agenda for November 6th. Is there a motion for approval? Okay. Wally, is there a second for John? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say- we'll do approval of minutes for October 2nd. It should be emailed to you. Is there a motion for approval? Becky, motion to approve. Wally with the second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, the same. Okay, we'll start with staff reports. Wichita Fire Departments, you are up first.
Where'd you like to go?
If you would have come to the podium. This way. Okay, thank you.
I'm Lieutenant Gary Kennedy with the South Fire Department, and kind of give you an update on what's going on in the district, and do some road safety tips and that training for the season coming up, and obviously the time change for the 3/23. The information I have from our investigation unit looks like there's only been one event within the last month. An undetermined event. I don't have a dollar on it, but I think one is not too bad. This time of year, obviously we're getting colder. People are keeping their home. Gas, I feel kind of, taking incidents that occurred. As I mentioned, obviously everybody knows we just went through a time change. With the time change, we probably recommend that batteries are changed in most sectors. We recommend that you have carbon monoxide sectors as well in your home. You have gas appliances. Definitely, carbon monoxide is a very deadly gas, and it sneaks step on people and a lot of times, that they are. Some of the things to look for are obviously nausea, lethargy, tiredness, things like if your animals are unhealthy, they're different money. Those are just a couple of things, and then we have a couple of deals that we want to talk about, like Thanksgiving safety. I know a lot of people like to fry their turkey and or whatever it may be. I always recommend that you completely thaw out the tofu completely and use the cooker in a place that doesn't have a combustible around perfectly. Well, concrete building, your house, garage, everything else. I believe recently up in May, there was a incident where somebody was trying to fry it. Or we had too hot, or if the protein was not followed, but they were apparently doing this activity on their deck. Top that back of their house on fire and spread through their house really quickly. One example of something happened. Obviously, whenever you're cooking your dinners and that type of thing in the kitchen, we recommend obviously keep track of your kids, make sure they're not near the hot stove and or getting the knives and everything else. Pay attention to what's occurring in your kitchen. You're not distracted. The other thing is the heating safety. Obviously, some people like to use space heaters in their home and candles, those types of things. We often recommend that if you're not in a room with the space heater, that you turn it off and unplug it when you go to bed and keep the flame. Candles, you always want to monitor those. They don't take over. And never use your stove as well. I've seen that, and the last thing with it being cold, people are using their wood-burning stove to do that thing. Again, we recommend that individuals have the chimney clean, regularly annually. Make sure that creosote no less than there. A fire hazard within the stack. And also make sure that you have the answer when you make a lot of calls with people at the day, so they're not so much snow they think it's fire. But on the same token, that's what we're there for. We don't mind going out and make sure with that, if have anyone knows. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah. I read about a new fire station at Pawnee and, it's 109 or Main Road. Okay. Is that gonna be a replacement for 17 or what?
That I can't speak to because I don't have the knowledge on that. It's not, I can't imagine it's going to replace 17. That area of town there's so much space that needs to be covered out there. There's a need for another station out there from that around here. Again, I don't have specific knowledge of that. It's just a good thing right here.
Well, I don't think we're replacing a station, we're adding one, and we're going to land acquisition right now, so they don't have the exact block and something yet, but we'll go to something like that.
Well, to me, it seems like a very poor place for the fire station. It's only 2 miles from 17. It's 21 and 5 miles from 17, and 18 4 miles from 17. And you can only go in 3 directions, if you can't go east. And that's real for. You can't go in all 4 directions. So I would think you'd be a lot better off down on 130 for 31st Street South or 842.
So Kellogg mentioned this response time, that was a big part of it. And put a station down there, making more adequate to service 20,000 people that live down there, near your area, my area, and then you get over to the Hoover Park area, just too logistically too difficult to get to the
Well,
railway.
it's only a mile from my, but I think it's a good place for the fire. I mean, that's better, much better location where you can go for the rest. Over 119th and Pawnee or something like that. When you're blocked, there you go north or south or west. I don't make a lot of sense.
But I think that will be certainly by council, not.
So I'm just
Yeah.
passing the word on, but that's the news I'm bringing in the paper.
Any other questions for Dad or from Dad? Any questions from public? Okay, seeing none, thank you for attending the meeting. Thank you, I appreciate it. Wes, we have Wes and South Dakota, that's, South Dakota. Okay.
Hello, I'm Offer Cal, Southville. Not sure if I'm gonna make it today, I'm not sure if I'm gonna phone you for time today. It was bringing up some statistics for, District 4 here. Month to month comparison, we are down, on rate, assaults, robberies, larcenies. The auto theft, all fun, we're trying to look at that, a slight uptick. Pretty good numbers if you compare that from the year to year date, the 5-year average. We're doing pretty well with that. Good numbers there. Some assignments that we will be working on here in the upcoming months. There's been a crime trend of auto thefts between teenagers and families. I'm not sure how many people are aware of that. The social media trend, but starting back in 2015, from Kia boys, who were very, 2012 and newer Kias and IMAs. We did have developed some suspect information, so I don't want to go into too much detail on that, because we're working on that. But we have partnered with Kia, Midwest Kia, about the coming Saturday, to go into free anti-theft software, and going to Kia, if you own a Kia. I'm not sure, you know, this is social, something for everybody to have. Additionally, coming up with Black Friday, this is the time of year that this will increase, that's mostly retails. There will be some assignments that we will shop with. I don't know about that. Car warming, it's kind of been a warmer fall, so we haven't had an issue with that, and obviously we look at them. And for weather, I just remind people not to be on them. And then the last thing we're going to speak about is our current class that is in field training right now of officers. Obviously, there was about 6.5 months of academy and then 4 months of field training unit supervisor. And by the time the next academy, they should be out on their own finally. We see 5 of them down south. So I have.
Any questions from Dad? Online? Any questions from the public?
No, but I'd like to thank you for the work that you've been doing on West MacArthur Road before this thing came later. You probably don't know my first name, but my last name is Vander, this is my wife, Michelle. She's been working on this road, and you guys have done a great job.
Hold on, the laundromat?
Yes, sir.
Up and doing more things.
I'm told we have a community officers for our area.
I mean, there's technically 4 or 5 of us, but 0 for all of us there. That'd be off the box. But something like that.
We give us number, see what we can do about that. And this one, so we walking the highway. Ground property that. South Yard and the block, in general, traffic and cars coming in and going to stop. Now, just in the middle of the alley, without you. How,
questions for the officer? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon. I'll move on to the library reports. Robin back.
Robin Bell, I'm the manager of the Alford Library, I'm the Alford manager, and I'm here to introduce Steve, we have our new manager for Alford and the Walford section. So this is my. For October, we had 4,524 visits, and then we circulated 6,705 items. A lot of holidays this month, so all of the library locations are closed this Friday, November 10th for Veterans Day, and for Saturday for Veterans Day. The week of Thanksgiving, we close at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, November 22nd, and then we are closed all day Thursday and Friday, but we'll open back up on Saturday. November is Kansas Reads to Preschoolers Month. This is a statewide event through the State Library of Kansas that encourages parents, caregivers, and librarians to read one chosen title to children ages 0 to 5 during the month of November. This year's book is My Heart Fills with Happiness by Monique Gray Smith. This book, with illustrations from artist Julie Fled, serves as a reminder for little ones and adults alike to reflect on and cherish the moments in life that bring us joy. We have several great programs throughout the month at different library locations that preschoolers can participate in. You can visit wichitalibrary.org/pre-K for more information. And our new book bus is here and hitting the road this month. We just had it for a visit on Saturday here at Alford. It is out in the community, thanks to a grant that the Kansas Health Foundation administered through the Wichita Public Library Foundation. The book bus will pop up in areas of Wichita without direct access to a library and bring a small collection of books to kids. And you can request a visit. The place on the website, you can put an organization and then schedule a visit from the book bus. We also want to give a special shout out to local artist Lindsay Fernald, who was hired to create the beautiful bus wrap. She's got artwork and you'll see it all over Wichita. So you can learn more on our website, wichitalibrary.org/bookbus. Not bookmobile, book bus.
Any questions we got? I have a comment. First off, thank you for service. You're sad to see you go, congratulations and welcome. I will see you this every month. More than that. This past Friday, I did the adult study hosted by the Wichita Library. I was walking in and I was wanting to keep, and I looked around and it was serious. And decided not to. And then I probably would have made it to round 5. After, so I learned you be brave and you jump in and do it regardless. But that was honestly a very fun way to spend Friday night. Everybody there was really important. So I hope that the library does in the future. With the whole friends along, and we did not think that that's how we spend our Friday night, but it was very cool. So
Robin, I don't remember anybody doing the library update before you kind of started that.
Well, they told me I had to do it.
Well, I appreciate that, and, you know, I've challenged the library system pretty hard over the last 10 years. I think we've made it better. You know, a lot of people talk about relevant, you know, you get everything from the phone, you get it from a library, and I think the full library system has done a really good job of engaging and offering other services and having more interaction. So I appreciate the part.
And it's, you know, it's gonna get more exciting. Right now, West Bank Thunder, involved, you know, and double the space there, and Alfred is up for something. So that was pretty awesome. Project too, so. You want to say anything more?
Steve Anderson, lifelong Wichita. I'm here after 19 years at the university. And I have been downtown 500 for that. So I look forward to being back in the library and hopefully
Any questions from the public? Thank you again, David and Rob. Public Works and Utilities, you're up next.
Anything, Paul Gosselman, city engineer. I've got a few updates for you for District 4. We are wrapping up the 2023 pavement preservation program. And then next time we'll be here, I'll have the 2024 information for you. The South Lakes Pickleplex, we will be opening bids on that sometime in December, with construction beginning shortly thereafter. West Street, I-235 47th Street project, that design is still underway. And we have initiated some additional funding for right-of-way acquisition in September. The project to the north of that, West Street, Pawnee, P42 project, we opened bids on that Friday.
Yay.
Bids are over the engineer's estimate, so we are looking at what those unit costs were, what portion of that project is over the estimate. We will be looking at recent projects, so we might have some funding available, and we'll be going back to city council for that. So we are deferring the bids for 1 week while we sort through this. It's a federally funded project. Typically, we defer that a week anyway for KDOT until they get the information. So in the meantime. So Prairie Sunset Trail, right-of-way acquisition is underway on that project as well. And then we'll skip down to, I think, maybe the last time here, I provided a update on the Kellogg and Ridge interchange improvements. We have submitted that interchange for RAID grant funding. We had a debrief meeting with FHWA on that in September. And we have, there 8 criteria that they ranked those applications on. We needed 6 out of 8 to have a high, 6 out of 8 that ranked high and move on. We have 5 of the 8 sections ranked high. We are meeting with the consultant that helped us put that together. We think we can put that increase and then resubmit that for the next round. The multimodal facility or the hub, we have final plans submitted to MABCD. And we held artist interviews on that project late October. We will be hiring the same artists for that. For public art within that facility. And then on October 17th, the city council approved $1.5 million for 2024 for the Dirt Street program. There are 5 locations within District 4 for that program for those paving the dirt streets. And we will be going out for design on those to get those started shortly after the third. And that is my update for.
I do have one question. You said there's 4 streets in District 5. Okay, I just either 5 or
No, there's 5. Okay, this county code.
No, you're good. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
I just had a quick question about West Street, that north of K42 and Pine Beach, that construction is ongoing.
That section would go up to South Carolina. So that's what we have.
But codes are up for that section now.
They are probably most likely doing the utility bill relocation. On your, like when you mentioned you're taking bids on the take bids, you use the requirement, you need local contractors, you use I found that state, it is not a requirement of these local contracts. Those guys. I make a suggestion that we look at, it's like, if we're gonna use our taxpayer money, we should use this stuff.
We had something a few years ago, didn't we? Did we have, didn't Marlboro up in or something?
We don't know, I can look at that, but I would say
And
that
some of them we have, some, I know there are a few, that we did do kind of,
have to know the places, but I don't know about that.
I think some of that little waiter,
If we're paying for it, I would say that our business needs to get that figured.
Any other questions down?
One.
Question from the public?
Oh, yeah, one, on the Dirt Street program. Okay, I see all the development where they've expanded the electrical grid over here. And then I see all the upbuilding going on the corner of Seneca and West MacArthur Road. My understanding is that they're supposed to put a street through on that back field, and that will completely develop all that background back there where we're having a lot of problems. Do you have any idea when that's gonna come about?
I do
I
not.
know it's in the city planning commission's office to put that street in, but it's a dirt road now, the dead ends at the bush. And all that is one problem right after another.
I don't know, I can look it up for you.
Okay,
I'll make note of that. Then I got a partner.
Seneca and MacArthur thing. It's, right off of where, Pepsi's at and where the grid's at, where the car wash used to be before they tore it down. They're developing all that area right there, and they're supposed to put a bypass street through there now. It's the dirt road, I think, maybe that's in this program.
I will look at that for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Desmond?
Not a question, no, but what for other works that does the alleyway, not, we really appreciate it. It'd be 2,200 miles of alleyway, we found without getting there. We have one grade, do all of them. And I can't tell you how many times over the years, called her saying, broke down and stopped. One grader, 2,200 miles. Doesn't sometimes, while we leave the alleyway, because it's so busy, that's what I'm not, and we're so fast. And then I'm ready, and two more graders that leave the rest. Meridian Farms is kind of done that area. They know what it's like to out on the street. So the alleys we use for them. I don't think that part. Like, the one and you start to do the thing, and then people have to. They will, maybe it's beyond the job.
Thank you. Hey, we'll move on to the public agenda. So there's two different items. There's schedule items, nothing scheduled. There's an individual here that wants to speak. That's not about one of the cases we're talking about tonight. This is your opportunity to speak now. There's something else you want to speak about. Otherwise, if you're here to speak about that case, we'll do that later. Make sure if you haven't had the chance to sign in yet, make sure to sign in the back. If we have the information, and we'll do case by case and have public comment for each case. Yes, sir.
My name is Richard Sanders. I am here on behalf of people that live at 1912 West MacArthur Road, including the owner John Peck. We come to this meeting for two reasons. One, because we wanted to see the people who are going to advise the city council when we meet with the city council tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. We wanted to appreciate you and say thank you to you because without your office and Miss Brooks sitting there. Okay, we've been going through this off and on situation at 1912 West MacArthur Road, Air Capital Mobile Home Park, going on about 10 years. And for the most part, we've dealt with the homeless and the drug addiction situation on a pretty moderate place. We know about it, we know how to deal with them, and we've been pretty much going in a direction that is good. But in the last 2 years, it's gotten completely out of hand. With gangs and guns going off,
okay, shootings and overdoses. So we finally made a flat out complaint to the city. And my wife, who spearheaded the technical aspect of it, and me and the owner of the property spearheading the groundwork, we have finally got the city out there thanks to Miss Brooks. And the officers and the fire department, and they got it cleaned up as far as the building goes. What we're having a problem with, and this is something that John wanted me to bring to everybody's attention. Problem is not with the homeless people and not with the drug addiction, because that's gonna go on no matter where you're at. Especially right now, things are pretty rough, so I understand it. But the problem we're having is with the owners of the property that own the laundromat and the convenience store, who lease the property to the current lessors. Okay, and their willingness to work with the public so that we can stop this situation, or at least, how's the word I want to say? I want to use a specific word, and I really don't know the word I want to use. I just know that I know we're not going to stop it all, but with the help of the owners of the properties and the people who lease the properties, if we had their help, then we could do something. And what we're asking the city to do, and people who represent us, and the 40 homes that are behind this store and this monument, is to make these people who are in these buildings be responsible for their actions of what's going on. Because they know what's going on, but they don't want to help us stop what's going on. If it wasn't for that lady sitting right there at that desk, and you, who spearheaded it along with us after we made the complaint, it would have been out of hand. I mean, we've had 3 shootings in the last 2 months. Okay, we've had, I would say probably 4 or 5 overdoses where the fire department and the sheriff hadn't been called out there. Okay, and we have lost control of the situation, and we are counting on the city to back us up. And if it means the people who are renting that space have their leases pulled on or be fined by the city until they reach a point to where they're going to cooperate. Because even when Ms. Brooks sent us and you sent the city out there to repaint the building, you know, spray over all the graffiti and put up the signs that said it is city ordinance, no trespassing. Because the owners of the property wouldn't do it. You guys did it. And we appreciate that very much. Okay, it made a whole big difference, but right now, okay, that's only just the, how do you say, the icing on the cake? Or just the cake being made. We need the icing, and the icing is to have the cooperation with people who actually own that building. And we're not getting it. On the phone, they say, oh yeah, whatever you can do, yeah, we're behind you 100%. And the next thing we know, there's another gunshot going off. My boss and I are having to go back there with a trailer and start hauling off furniture that people are bringing in to the back of the laundromat on private property. And when we pull the furniture out, and I have 3 trailers full sitting next to my house right now, that we haven't taken to the dump, we find 15, 16 needles. Okay,
And Mr. Rainer, I apologize, I didn't specify how long public comments last, we'll wait 3 minutes, I give you 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
oh, that's good.
So if you just want to wrap it up, that's fine.
I'll wrap it up really good. We're gonna be at the city council meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Are you on the
agenda?
I am.
Yes.
We are on the agenda, okay? And this is our agenda. We want these people to either cooperate or be put out of business. I don't care if we have to fine them until they can't afford to stay in business.
All right.
You're doing the right thing. Contact today.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay.
You're coming to the council meeting. so-
Thank you very much, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you.
And thank you for being engaged and for being here, and Brooke, thank you.
Yeah, but I will do.
I'm glad when somebody recognizes what I work there.
See, I'm very passionate about this. Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you coming today, and make sure again, leave your information back there, so you can, you already have, contact Brooke, just to make sure that there's follow-up.
Okay, will do. Don't be afraid to give birth to them tomorrow.
Listen, she's already done that. We love you, bro.
So now we'll move on to new business, we'll do zoning case 2023-00043. I do not know, speaking on behalf of it, but hello.
This is Monica from the planning department, and this case, you're familiar with this case, it has been in the DAB before. It's coming back for some additional discussion and public comments before it's being heard at the city council on November 7th, 2023, which is tomorrow. So the applicant requesting rezoning of the property from B multifamily to LC limited commercial. The site is generally located on the north and west of Main Avenue and Seneca Street. The subject site is 0.21 acres in size and zoned B multifamily.
My fire, anything changed?
No, it's coming back to the DAB for additional discussion.
I'd like to, John, yeah, we check this again, if nothing has changed.
Yeah.
I want to do this again, I agree.
So I've been kicking this down the road, just because I don't like to deny this about.
We don't need, I don't either, but nothing has changed.
Can we put it here?
Never created, we heard it, right? Third or fourth, I think you've heard it once before.
This is the second formal time.
There is a, no wait, pause, there is a motion and a second, so there's a motion on the table, so there's further discussion, and we'll hear that. Before we continue with, comments from staff, is there anybody from the public that wants to speak about this case?
Yes.
We better ask the owner.
You guys feel the negative side of the project, just feel the positive side.
Okay, so I can make sure there's someone from the public, so if you continue, and we'll wrap up staff report, and then we'll go to the public, because it seems that there's new information, so.
I'll try and do as short as I can, because you have already heard the case before. So the staff is recommending denial for the requested LC zone change and approval for the GO general office zone change. The site is part of an existing mixed-use corridor along the local streets. In this area, moderate intensity commercial uses about the high density residential uses in the north and west. As you already know, that this case has already been heard at the NAPC on August 10th, and has been recommended for approval. On August 7th, the district advisory board has reviewed the request and recommended denial with the understanding that the parking lot is permitted by right use of the multi-family district. This is typically correct for the parking that is an accessory to the principal use on the site. In this case, the use of the full site for ancillary parking to serve the adjacent business requires a conditional use permit or a zone change. On September 12th, the city council considered the application and moved to defer the item to November 7th. On October 2nd, the district advisory board reviewed the request and recommended denial. There has been valid protest petition of 29.3% of the total real property within 200 feet of the subject site notified to the proposed action. Has been received for the requested zone change. You have specific questions?
What was your last comment that you said that there's a petition from the area for denial?
Petition, a protest petition, from the 29.
There is a protest petition?
Yes.
Okay, and what percentage is that?
29.2%. If you could, move the attachments, I can see the map.
And that is in addition, 29.3% of the owners have complained, but that is in addition to informal complaints by residents.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, okay, I think that's all about that staff. Are there other questions from GAP or staff?
I had one. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm having a hard time hearing, so I may say something that's been discussed already that I've missed. So my neighbor called me this evening and he and his wife are both ill. So they're not able to be here tonight. And it's the same issue that we had when we talked about it before. This plan of doing it in the light commercial rather than the way it is now, whatever that zoning is, they have got to have an access there there's a driveway up there. and they've got to have an access to get to the back of their building. And the guy that's planning to put the parking lot in or whatever he's got up his sleeve will not include any access. So those that the tenants in this building will not be able to get to the back of their building. And Michael said he had talked to the tenants and they are all against against the plan. And they are in agreement that they need an access road or a driveway written into whatever we pass.
Okay, thank you, June. Any other comments from that?
I would just second that. When Scott was here last month presenting on this, he said, what suggestions would make this more favorable to the staff? And we told him, we would like to see a compromise between the applicant and the other tenants for some sort of shared access agreement for the backside of that. You know, now you're back to the same case and saying nothing. We do not have any updates from the owner or the neighbor who has completed this access issue that we have had any agreement.
So, we'll see if there's, we've got questions. Yeah, we'll see if there's any more questions from that. Okay, thank you, and probably have more questions here, I would imagine. Comments from the public? Yep, if you come up here, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Eduardo Mora. Good evening, first of all. Sorry for my name is not that good.
Cannot hear.
Just so you and everybody online. So,
My name is Eduardo Mora. Me and my wife own a property market. We are neighbors of next to grocery store. My wife and I started business 13 years ago when I got my job. I used all the money that I have saved during this year for employment, start this business. In the beginning, I worked out me and my wife and my oldest son started working. And now we have like 17 to 20 employees. Full-time basis. I have the opportunity to move my business to a building that I purchased next door to the south of the property. I told him they went to leave. The property I purchased will be needed. In addition, I am training and doing a bit. Require also addition of a parking lot in that customers be safer and to get in the store and my whole family employee and not very hard working people. We live at Fourth District. We do not understand why there is people trying to say negative things about a project. I am here to tell you, please put a business on this, including we are trying to make a business better. This will be safer, cheap, quality, and more accessible to our customers in and out of stores. And also, I have a huge breaking in the back of the building on the left of the talking about, and that's not a driveway. He just paid the guy to let him go in the lot, but it's not a driveway. And all people getting there and down for a lot of stuff. I've been saying a lot of times to take stuff to the dump. People just getting there and dump smart systems and tires and everything. I have to pick them up and take them out to the dump. So I'll be taking that. Please, I look when services to the people, I'm gonna nothing to do. I'm going to do them. My goal is,
Thank you, we're at time. So are there any questions from Dab? Specific questions, are there any questions from Dab?
I don't have what would it take? Because as you said in your report, which is what your neighbor said as well, he was once able to rent in a shared access agreement, so he could have access to the back of his property.
well,
Would you be agreeable to something like that?
I feel like you never touched production, you never heard of it. I mean, if I could speak also, like, I'm the oldest son. And it's sort of like, you know, I mean,
Yeah, let's stand up and I'll swear your neighbor.
Christian work, oldest son here. It's sort of like, I mean, you know, it was an idea, it was about, sure. But it's not the way like, you know, the owner and stuff, things like when you negotiate, or clean up the idea. So like, obviously, one that we want to make a bigger lot, we like, there's a big community back. You know, most of them, like a bunch of Latino Americans, you know, not just Mexican, all African, Latino back there. And it's, I don't know, like for us, we started a small business, doing it, you know, from the internet. It's got lots of job and we decided to release family and we see like, okay. And we started going, we started getting more support from the family and the village around. So, you know, we was clear, like, there was times where, you know, he came up with ideas to tell them, I mean, not to say, you know, the owner, yeah, I mean, but if he didn't like try to come to negotiation or do a group or a compromise to help us out, and I mean, we're kind of stuck here, you know. So it's sort of like, I mean, we're asking for this, but it's not sort of, it's gonna affect his business, and if like if you do reach compromise, we can still make this happen, and you know, it comes down to both lots of both buildings, stuff like that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I have a follow-up question to that, because that was our recommendation when we met, I think in August, and I know it was in October, that staff will talk to you all about that. As staff expressed, those were the wishes of Dab, in his advisory board, had staff let you know that that was a request from us.
So what were you?
The city told you that the recommendation was that you work out with the other tenants to create.
One thing that they did told me, but he doesn't want to talk to me anymore for some reason. And I've been paying him rent for like we're there, we're open. But I don't, we're going to 10 years, it's always paying rent and everything else. But then you find out, you get that. And you guys don't want to talk to me? We found out that, like, you know, we thought of this idea, just, you know, it was not on the store, like, you know, we just not, you know.
Do you have any idea why the protest petition was so high? You guys have problems with the neighbors that went back behind there?
Not, I don't know, I mean, not that they, like, just come up to us, I mean, for me, the only complaint that I had, we ever got on the monitors, our business area, that was peaceful. And that's where ideas come up with the bigger business, we can have more, and have more people be able to get in there and stuff like that. Sometimes we are a pretty crowded area, pretty crowded space, and we do get a lot of, customers and whatnot, you know, from all of them, which playing with us, I'm going to go and all of us, and like, I'm meeting with folks. I even come up, yeah.
And I have a follow-up question too. So we heard this in August, we heard this in October. Normally when someone's coming before the zoning, either MAPC or DAB, they will comment beforehand. Were there extenuating circumstances that you couldn't be here in August and October, but the case?
Me, I was currently out of town, I'm a truck driver, and that's semis, on the road and stuff. And I just, like, I basically stopped doing that, I'm helping support them again. Cause I worked with them on and off, and stuff, and like, the startup, I was with them most of the time. You know, I'll be 30 this year, so I'm young, but, you know, I don't like to do my own things too, I don't like being too tough. But that, the end of the day is in my folks, you know, like, anything that makes me like push forward, we afford this community, because a lot of people there at this business, I mean, definitely when it comes to it, like, I don't know, you bring a smile to it, we agree to it, right?
treat them like how it's supposed to be treated, we like provide them with the best of grocery, the best of stuff like that. So,
Dr. Sean, you're coming back. In terms of the reason why you weren't present in August or October.
oh, I went up there, but I messed up on the, I'm that work out. I went up there with hours late. So, that was my mistake. That's why we wanted to reach.
So I would say this gap's a very business friendly gap, and we always want to try to change zoning as much as possible. So we rarely deny anything, we usually deny them an application. Or there's
That's very
high protest, you know, that's why we deny it twice.
Alex,
you have a question?
No, not very. One of the previous occasions, didn't we recommend a different zoning? Because the one that is in the process right now, it was very, it allows for a lot more. Or the current zoning already allows for the parking lot. I think that's what it was.
We have since been informed that it only allows for a parking lot for the permitted use. So currently, like, they could have duplexes and have a parking lot for duplexes, but they could not just put a freestanding parking lot for it.
That you looked at was under the GO, they could build a building in the entire place. And if you look at trying to create a parking lot, there's no actual zoning for that.
So GO with the general office would be a lesser intensive commercial zoning than the requested limited commercial. That would be a perfect buffer between the residential higher density residential zoning, which is on the west, and the commercial zone which is on the east. So you can create a balance between the two. So the staff is recommending general office instead of limited commercial. It has more experience. Yes.
But there's no such thing as a zoning for parking lot of.
No, so the general office does
Create
one.
That would solve this problem.
So you can have, as she said, with the current zoning that's multi-family, the accessory parking to principal use in a house or a duplex is possible, but the parking as a sole or principal use needs a conditional use permit. So that's where the first time the DAP during the mistake on that, and it was considered as a permitted use. The parking, the principal use of parking is considered a permitted use, but it is actually a conditional use.
I know we may have more questions for the applicant. I know there's a couple of people that public comment too, so if hang tight, we may have more questions for you. And hang tight as well. I saw you had your hand up.
Yeah,
So
I'm Roberto Baez, I'm the contractor as well, I work with them. So the 30% that we saw today, no, I think it was Friday. It was taken out of this area, and this area here. So these guys are invading this property. So they made him vote against it. Out of this 100%, Mr. Mora is paying rent from probably, I don't know, these three and these three. Yeah, so the only independent tenant that is in here that is not theirs is right here, just one, AA. That's it. He owns this building here and we want to expand here. And we thought it was safer to have parking lot space instead of having all the people parking here and in here causing traffic and people crossing the street with their groceries.
you said you're representing the applicant.
I'm the contractor,
You're the contractor, okay, the applicant.
but just because they show us the 30% that came out of that, what is it called? What do you call
A
it?
protest petition.
It came from this area.
Also, when the applicant had the question in terms of access road, were there efforts to try to make an access road as part of the plan?
Yeah, well, Kirk and Randall can tell you better, but this is not legal access. He has been very nice to let him use it, and the previous owner used to charge these guys rent, I think monthly or something, but there is no legal commitment to it. And for some reason, we were looking at this addition here. There is no permit, there is no plan for it. So somebody made that and they enclosed themselves.
So what are you gonna do
Real quick, so the plan is to tear everything down there and just make a big parking lot basically?
The original plan was to build a new building here so we can make the store this long.
And then what happens to the red
City,
area?
city recommended that the parking lot, it was needed. So we worked on it. It was a city recommendation for safety. So Eduardo, Mr. Mora owns all this property too. The problem with this area is that all the break-ins to these stores here, well, his store AA, oh,
Oh, sorry about that.
yeah.
I was trying to, sorry about that.
so people leave trash in here, all the break-ins happen through here, which he has been having police reports and having cleaning crews. But he has been really nice to let him use. If we can go ahead and build in here without no problem. And we can do a really nice green area here and just enclose here with nice flower pots or trees or whatever.
So what happens to the green area in your plan, or to the red area in your plan,
Mhm. Parking lot.
all the way up?
Mhm.
Enclosed parking lot?
Yeah, well, who can answer that one better than me?
Where do
That's
I
the whole
enter?
problem.
How do I get in the parking lot?
Let me see. There was the parking lot plan.
Randall Steiner. Architects.
They know more than me on that thing.
565. There it is. Okay, perfect. That's what I need. That's, so you pull in there and there would now be no way to get access to that back area.
So I want to ask about that. Is that back area legal parking? And what is back there? Is it just a door access?
It's for dumpsters, basically at the back doors to the strip of business itself.
Okay.
And yes, like,
But it's not really customer parking.
and that's where like a robbery or burglaries take place, really, because it's like, it's connected to that back street, that dog street. And so, and that's not just like,
So business, you have staff,
staff for staff.
So as staff person, we haven't received any documentation, legal documentation on the access. And also we looked at the plat map so that we do not see an access that into the back of the sale.
and the businesses that are having deliveries that are coming to the back of the building, they now have to have their deliveries come to the.
No, they so nothing goes in the back of it except.
What goes in that? Just a dumpster?
Dumpster and, yeah. Employees park there to like take, so we won't take up space.
But it's not really zoned for the parking, right?
Not zoned for parking right now.
Are they trying this? Have they applied for a parking permit on that side?
I'm not sure of that. Not.
I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is that a protected area or not? It's not zoned for parking. And do we really need to allow the access? I'm just throwing it out there.
They have been unofficially using that area as an access.
Unofficial.
Yes.
That parking lot out front of the business is pretty good already. I can see why he's standing about the parking lot.
We went from just being kind of street open to like, so everything.
And the business that we was continuing doing.
Oh, man, like,
I think that we just want you guys to be good neighbors and work together.
There's so much talking about-
You haven't shared access to agreement with the previous owners of the building, and we would like to.
I can see that, you know, if we restrict this, it's limited off to, like, that's just there's no use for that space, you know, and that's a pretty large parcel.
Yeah, it's like I said, large, but the 10 months they're not getting it.
Yeah.
So what do they do if you block it off of park?
It's not fair. Like, it's not fair. But then it just becomes, this is wrong.
So this is a question for city staff, sorry, I know that you probably were not here in this original zone, so you may not have this. It doesn't seem like a policy that we would allow a lot to be completely blocked in every direction by other buildings if someone owns a lot. So is that an error from city staff at some point in history and not calling out for a long time ago? If you're completely blocked off from ever entering the property.
So I am not very sure, but then, I think this lot was subdivided. It was subdivided later than the previous lots.
On two, yeah, but sorry, that area in the middle, there's absolutely no, I mean, there's no use for it now from a useful sense, like it's just an empty lot between a parking lot and a building.
How is that area zoned?
If you build on it, you can do something. with it.
Brooke, can you,
Scroll down to the old thought for a
to the
second.
zoning map? Scroll up.
This is sorry. I'm trying to control temperatures.
The last
You can see this, and you see what for.
This is the zoning map.
I have not seen this. And I think, I don't know, looking at that area over there, as Steve said, it looks like they extended that building to the north. Which then blocks and access to get to that back.
So they extended their.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So then it should be articulated everything now.
I'm being in control long dog.
Thank you for that. City staff, do you have any other recommendations? I'm gonna try and weed out people at the podium.
So you can see the current zoning of the lots next to those, some grass.
Okay.
So the resident, the zone next north of the plot is zoned multi-family. But the ones to the east are limited commercial. So.
So the missing is question and that vacant lot area is zoned commercial.
Yes.
But technically they can't access it without a shared use agreement from the B multifamily.
So. You will be there access to custom from the Seneca, but they have been unofficially accessing it through the dot, but then, now we the opportunity to do. Encourage them to have agreement on stems.
We have questions from Wally.
Yeah. You're gonna, once you build this building, you're gonna give up renting these other buildings and move out of the project. So, it's the other guy's problem, if he built on his block, his access to the railway, he's got land bought, once his land there that he owns, or he doesn't.
You can talk to the fisher from the sky, right? There's like that extra piece I have to.
Yeah.
There's a little alley, small ways there. So when they added the extra piece and blocked that on there, and with that, eventually, from what would be blocks.
Yeah,
That's all right.
that's it.
Yeah.
Another question for the staff. I know, sorry, I have a lot. Here's up and again. The additional piece, is there a way to tell when, if they would got approval, maybe get that out.
The additional, yes, there's a way to look it up, but I haven't done that.
That might be helpful information just for council tomorrow, I would imagine, if that additional piece, if you scroll back to the actual, like, if that additional blue piece at the top was added without city approval, that'd probably be helpful information, I would imagine, for council as well, if they.
We can find that out, like, when the permit has been issued or if
If
there
there-
has been permit.
Let us people know without approval and maybe not thinking why, that there's reasons why we may not want to do without it.
So, planning department doesn't need to permit, but the NEDC does, you can reach out to them, see if there's more.
And to find out if it's the current owner who built that extension or if that current owner purchasing the building at that.
You mind scrolling up to the map, this one here, Tom?
Yeah.
So I'll just do this, since I'm the one that made the motion, there are 3 stalls there at the north end of the thing. My take on this is we put those 3 stalls in there to be a driveway and allow them to have access. And so the next is make it longer. I really think we should leave that open and let access to the other tenants that you guys work about. Barring that, I move my motion. So the motion,
Yes, I move, we have comments with that. One second, there's a motion, room second, further discussion, I'll be fine, maybe debate this. Yes.
those 3
Can-
spots, if that he gives us those, gives up those 3 spots, we can't build 1,000 square feet on. You gotta have every spot. So those 3 spots have a very serious meaning for what he can do.
So that the city requirement is that you need this number of spots. To build a standard. Okay. So there is still a motion and there is still a second, so there is.
I didn't hear, can you repeat the motion? There's so much talking, I didn't actually hear what the whole thing was.
John, repeat the motion, that we reject the.
Oh,
so
okay.
reject the application without skipping
Yes.
the.
That's the same one.
It's the same.
You just wanted to reject, you weren't adding.
No.
Okay, same motion, that was your motion, is that your understanding too? So there is a motion, a second to reject the application. Is there any further discussion, either from the board or online? Okay, there's a motion, a second. All in favor of, John's motion, say aye.
I,
All opposed, the same.
Aye.
So we're gonna take a hand vote. So I think it might be tied. So all in favor, and if you wanna go to June and Alex too. Okay, so we're gonna go in favor of John's motion to reject. There's all, raise your hand if you're in favor of rejecting. 1, 2, 3. Alex, are you in favor of rejecting or not? I can't tell.
I'm in favor of rejecting.
Of rejecting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then all in favor, all opposed to rejecting, raise your hand. 4. So the motion fails. Is there another motion on the board?
I have a question. Is
Yes.
there such thing as a mediator that could get these two guys in the same room without killing each other and patch it out and come up with a solution
And I asked
themselves?
I appreciate the suggestion. I asked the listen to council, but it didn't help.
Would that be put on a limited, the limited use side of it? Or conditional use?
So we haven't been to a mediator or?
Written into the conditional use permit. That there is access for tenants of the building. To the parking lot, no matter how many parking spots they got.
How about we just pass it as we couldn't make a decision and let the city council do it?
I think there could be, but I think the argument is that if there was, then they wouldn't be able to expand the building as is, or they would have to redo the plans already currently.
So, it's a landlocked issue.
That's another. I have a question for the applicant. What is your time frame for this?
So we, I've got two, I think you contact with them.
Okay, so, like, you're not building this next week?
No,
You're not.
well, I mean, the time to start building,
Correct.
because, I've got the contract for 3 years and it's already 1 year and some months. And have we do the contract, so it's sort of like, you know, it's just like, we're figuring out like a deal and everything. Also like, right out of our contract, and but I'm pretty sure he's not doing all the work that we need. So,
I would offer a motion, and this is it's because we've already, it's unusual because we've already got this case twice. But my motion would be that we, table motion, now that would affect city council, obviously city council would be going on tomorrow, they would have to table a very different thing. But that we would table on it if city council chooses not to move on it, that we would table this till December, given that that gives you the opportunity, now you're back in town to try to figure out a mediation. Like I imagine that, if somebody from city staff might have the opportunity to sit down and either both and figure out a solution.
well, as long as the answer, you know.
And maybe, and if he doesn't, and I think part of this is showing good faith. Even just good faith, you may not come up with a solution.
Tell him this. Tell him if he doesn't sit down with you, I'll change my vote to yes next time and you'll get a. It's already recorded, it's all recorded tonight. If he doesn't sit down with you, I'll go the other way and get your approval in a month.
And part of it, there may,
You guys send the letters, you want, you call me.
I mean, the guy's gotta be willing to work. Not willing to talk to you in a month. No, he said, you can tell me,
I don't understand that.
one second, while
When they send the letters to every neighborhood, both, 10 o'clock, they're not, they say, what is this about? I don't know.
try and talk.
Walt has on that. Yeah, Walt has on it, so 1 second.
He owns property. There's a building he blocks where you can't get access to it, it's his problem.
Somebody blocked. We don't have it with-
But he bought it, he should have done a title search or whatever, anyway, he bought property, part of it he can't get to, his problem. You own the land, I wouldn't give it up. He doesn't need access, let him come in my helicopter if he wants to get it up.
Yes.
I mean, you buy a landlocked piece of property, you're dumb.
There's a driveway.
Will you be at the council meeting tomorrow?
Okay.
There is a
June,
driveway there now.
June, you might ask your neighbor if he can be at the council meeting tomorrow. Because.
I will.
Point, if I can get.
Okay, yeah, there is a driveway there, Wally, that he can use, that the priest,
That,
But he doesn't own the driveway across somebody else's. If it was my property, you go across it, I'd be out there blocking you.
my suggestion is, you be at the council meeting tomorrow, you normally cannot speak on these issues, if I can make a motion and get council approval, you'll be able to speak on this, you can make your case to the city council, because if I have to delay it one more time, to the first meeting, they're gonna work out there.
So I will offer a motion of approval currently, contingent on both parties actively trying, or at least you. Motion of approval, try to do it tomorrow, and then we'll show good faith in what we're doing. That's all, and again, I also echo Wallace's experience in some regards, if you purchase property and done investment, I'm sorry, that's us, and this is your property, so you have the right to do it. So my motion is approval of your application, just try to do. And so this may, and it may not be what, the motion of approval is your second. Okay, so there's a motion of a second. All in favor, we're gonna raise hands again. Raise your hand if you're in favor of approval. Or,
I can't because I didn't hear it. You've got to,
oh,
I'm having a hard time with the volume.
the motion is to approve the application and urge them to go to council tomorrow.
To hash it out.
Yes, so there's a motion to approve.
Okay.
Support. Motion, or is there, votes in opposition? Okay, one,
June,
is
I'm
June,
sorry.
you don't want it to go forward.
I don't, I want them to hash it out and then bring their decision to us.
So I'm gonna likely say your motion is, it's a no-go for you.
Okay, no.
1, 2, and then any abstentions.
What about Alex?
Alex, how did you vote? Alex?
Not approve.
Okay, not approved, so it's 3, and then is there an abstention? 1, you're right. Yeah, I know how you voted. Thank you. How about you? How did you vote?
Dalton, can I ask a question
sure.
kind of after the fact?
In 1 second, so I just want to get
Okay.
the correct total. So in favor was 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposition was 1, 2, 3, and 1 abstention. So the motion passes for approval.
So this is as per the staff recommendation,
For the staff recommendation.
the general office.
Yeah, for general office, the motion passes.
Denial for limited commercial, but approval for general. office.
Correct, yeah. staff
It is
recommendation.
general.
And that's satisfied. Do we want to put an overlay on that? That it can only be used for a parking lot?
Votes and already happened.
Yeah, it already passed, so I think we'll pass that.
What?
you have a question, June?
Yes.
On meeting tomorrow. So,
Sorry, June, 1 second.
Before you're up, but please be there.
So, thank you, sorry for the hassle. I wish you would have figured this out in August or October, but I'm glad we're out in November.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I mean, I haven't, so I heard it once before, I didn't show up. I don't know what the deal is, I mean, my dad's understanding, like, you know, any people that never lived, I mean, if there's agreement to be made, if you're doing something like that, I'll be all for it.
Well, thank you all for being here, I appreciate it. You don't have to stay directly if it's a long meeting as
I
well.
don't know where it's,
So-
thank you guys, thank you.
June, you had a quick comment?
Yes, I was in a situation where we had one driveway for 2 rental houses. We sold a rental house. We ended up with something called shared access of the driveway. Could they do something like that?
That's what we
It's all,
brought up
it's
over and
it's
over
basically
again.
proposing it to, like you said, it would work out.
We will, they're gonna talk about it at city council tomorrow.
Okay,
So there'll be further discussion tomorrow. at City Council.
I'll get a hold of him.
Before we leave here. I agree. And then we all were engaging in the process. Sometimes it's messy too, so.
Hey, you got it.
Yeah. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is Wichita.gov redesign here.
Yeah, Tyler's online.
We have that on here as well, it's just not in that order. So sorry. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I know we have a lot more cases today. So. Okay, Wichita.gov redesign. Thank you for being here. Yep. Just share my screen here. All right, so here's Wichita.gov redesign. So most of you already know, it's on our website, you've seen it, it's not great. Hard to, search function doesn't really work, hard to navigate. And then, pull down here, we did a survey about a year ago, year and a half ago. Residents were one.
So Eduardo was there and his brother, who is his contractor.
And then we'll.
And so we turned it down once and then
One second, Jude, could
they
you
kept
mute
talking.
your,
I give us a driveway. Got her.
okay, there you go. Staff pretty much said, search function, general, the way it's configured, and then, search function, So moving forward, we're looking at just Wichita.gov, it's not for Wichita.library.org, it's not Wichita.transit.org, it's not our internal portal. But we looked at Access Wichita, so we have a reporting site that we can use, and it's separate to Wichita.gov, kind of confusing, everybody goes one place, and all their information is pulled in. We're merging there and looking at the mergement where possible. Looking to make things where it's, never more than 3 clicks away with government, it's kind of hard, but we're doing the best we can to get people quickly as to where they want to be quickly as possible. We're going with Civic Plus, they're out of Manhattan, Kansas. So this is what they do. They do government websites. And we've been working with them for the last year. So here's a look at what we're going with for the new website. Starting here on the homepage. So up top, you got this website sign in. I'll come back to that here in a little bit. Social media icons with search right here front and center. I will know. Because we have the platform security, they've been having issues with the search working properly with the platform security, so we're still working on that. But we're gonna keep pressure on it, because we're not gonna launch until we make this right. Over here, you got these icons where you can just kind of move up and down the page on the home screen here, and different tabs, it goes back to the top. As you scroll down, you'll notice that these tabs up here will stay at the top of the screen no matter how far down you go. So that way, if you get down the screen a ways, you can come back up here and get whatever you need to do. We divided that into government, so you see here, you got city council, boards of committee, mayor, city council, departments, departments listed out, business. So do business city, lots of different tabs here, ways to do business city, economic development, licensing permits. One thing I noticed here is not everybody thinks to go the same route to get information as I might think about it. So I think if a business get a license permit, someone else might think, so how do I? And then online services get a license permit. So trying to make it easy for people who might think of different ways to get to that information. Down here, these buttons here, just kind of hot topics. So you look at the data and find out that whatever the most frequent opinions are, people trying to get to, we're going to put those links, jobs, information, that thing that's important issue. So it's right there front and center for people to get to. Below that, we have the latest news. So this kind of replaces that scrolling banner we have now. It's kind of distracting. You can scroll through it if you want to. It's not constantly moving, just stuff in your face. And you can click on it and you get a quick little story about whatever that is. One thing that a lot of people had asked us about is calendar function. So here on the homepage, we have 2 different calendars, depending on all events, city, and then public meetings. I'm going to click on public meetings, and since we're launching in December, there's a few more there. You can see the advisory boards, city council meetings, where you come over here to view all, and it brings you to our master calendar. I'm going to come over here to month 2. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, just turn everything on, and hit search. If I go into December, see there's a lot of stuff going on here, very cluttered. So you're able to filter this out and say, hey, I don't want to see all of that. I just want to see city council meetings. Let's just say agenda over here. We come back here. And then it filters a receipt just as you get whatever you want to say about that. Click on the icon here at the top left, that'll always bring you back to the homepage. Scroll down past that, we had mayor and council on the homepage. That's something that we thought, okay, if people are coming to see Wichita government, we have mayor and council out there to see. Something we're adding on the right of that now is we've been doing a recap of all the city council meetings, talking about what the agenda items were, brief little recap about what it was, and then what the vote was. So we have those on the side as well. Down here is the form filling for many of you have already seen that, nothing new, but we just have it linked right here on the homepage. So people can click down here and see different projects, and click on it and click the documents. The new tool we have here is a facilities module. You can come in here and look and see any and all facilities within the city of Wichita, like parks, fire stations, libraries. Then you can filter it out, say, I don't want to see that, I just want to see libraries, where it's at now. And you search, and you come in here and find all the different libraries. And then here, on that one. And you get more information on those facilities, and then you can make out the Okay, then down here at the bottom left, we have a tool where you can click on it and get different languages. So click on the language, changes everything on the website. So that makes it accessible to new people. Over here, to the right, it's kind of a new tool. We have a chat bot. It's kind of remembered all my history. I've been playing with it, testing it. So this is kind of here at the top what it will look like for people to see these different items here. So as people start submitting requests to chatbot, we can see what the common themes are. And then those top three buttons, we can put those at the top, get them exactly what they want to look at. We built in like 80, 90 pre-loaded answers, so we know they want to go. If those don't answer the question, it scans our entire website up for answers. If they can't get it then they can roll over to the live chat. But some people have had issues with live chat taking too long, so we can help them get them the next day. Without that, then we'll do both. And down here at the bottom, it's kind of some of the routine contact. So come up here, we look at the home page. Well, then you can see so much stuff I have. Talk about the function chatbot. So access list, I talked about that going away. So behind it. Okay. Sorry, I'm way ahead. So C-Click Fix, this will be replacing access list. It'll be an app you can download or you can report issues right on wichita.gov. The app's just going to be called City of Wichita, so that way if down the road we want to add more features outside of just reporting an issue, we're not stuck with okay, reporting issues something like that. It's a City of Wichita app. I know that I can catch up. What's the called? Just City of Wichita. Okay, City of Wichita app, and it's our logo. It's easy to identify. And it's Click Fix over here. It's Click Fix is what the name of the company is with the tool, but the app gets called City of Wichita. I'm already on the page.
That replaces the access.
That's replacing the access.
Nice.
All right, so here on this map, I know you can see this, but you can move the map around and find a location, and or you can type in the address there, whatever you want to get for whatever you're trying to report. You have animal control, forestry, public works, park and recreation, all sorts of things to report. So you select what the issue is. You can upload a photo, and then you can put some comments in there, put your email and phone number, whatever you want to be updated on progress on the thing, and then hit submit, and then that's it. So will that be on the page? That'll be on the homepage, yeah. So if you just report an issue, one of those, okay. Yellow button, on the yellow bar, the button there. Trying to get it front and center, and it's no longer a second website you have to go. So back here, so just talk about a few things. So it's mobile friendly, so no matter what update staff makes to this page, it's mobile friendly and will adapt to the mobile screen. One thing that is cool now, I talked about earlier, you can sign up and create a profile on here. You come in here, hit create an account, and then you can sign up for different notifications. So for all those calendars, you want to be notified of meetings coming up, we can set it to notify you before meeting, the week before, a month before. You get notifications of each meeting, however many you want to sign up for, newsletters, the news flash, news releases, you can sign up for any notifications you want, SMS message or email. And then just improve using navigation, that's one of the tools here that we're looking for. Hopefully we nail that one on the head. 80-day compliant, that's another good one we're trying to make sure that we're accessible to all communities. So we won't be able to have this tool with audio eye. It's not going to be available until we go live. We can't put it on our page until then. But it is a really cool tool here, so you can get contrast, your changes, just come to look for people if they have. I can't remember what they were saying before, but it's just going to look at the page for easy on your eyes and for easy to see how much money you can do that. One of the important ones here I thought was kind of cool to change the text on the page. And it's easier to do some text, but there's a dyslexic one that's coming up here, and then if we're raise the bottom of the text more, for people who are dyslexic, makes it easier for them to do that. There's also a guide on here. We're just storing some text, use the guide, and there's also a window to the text. Not really much to look at, because I'm doing this next one. So it's super staff that updated. So right now, a lot of people, they have to go through the IT department to make upload forms. Some staff can do updates, but this is really to kind of click and drag or upload information, upload documents, and then we have this best practices put in place. And people in the departments that have been trained to know what the best practices are, know what the ADA is defining, so we can make sure that we can update information more often and get more accurate information. We have not really something new, but it's included in this feature is online forms. And then with that account that you have that you created, you can remember your email address, your address, that sort of thing, but it won't remember any billing information and sensitive information like that. I can cover the calendar and then you can facility model. And then one last thing here is just a pin polls is something new we can put on here. It's open to scientific. Yeah, I like that joke, so I just threw that one on there. But it's something fun we could do, or trying to get a rough idea on something that maybe we don't really understand. But again, we got to understand it. We got to take it very soft. So with that, I'll say questions. Any questions you got? What are the city government style? There's a lot across the country. Eugene, Oregon, one that we looked at, a front quarter one, come all of that. There's quite a few.
Sure, hardly see our site, but everything is in a nice way, but I think it was great enough to design. With all the time, these are all great ones. I think it looks great as well. I'm curious if you could present that
We did have no vendors from Wichita available. They were the closest one.
Glad you looked.
Yep.
Yeah, I get lots of questions. People come to me and say, Becky, how do I find this on the city website? So I just got so used to, I know where stuff is, I don't have to think about it, but now I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is way better.
That's one thing I forgot to mention is IT's kind of own the website, but no one's really owned the content and ownership of that. So now I guess I'm the webmaster. Yeah, I said, hey, we fixed the work for like Google. My boss said, cool, run with it. And somehow I got the big part of it. But I'm always having communications out in front. We can look at it and support the data. It's like, okay, what works? Now we have an owner of the content.
Yeah, that's kind of, that's it, I really like what you said. I really like this city council stuff is on the front page, because that's something I go to all the time, and now I do it right there. I love the calendar feature. I always get frustrated when I go to websites and I have a calendar and it's not populated. It's like, that's not useful information. Why do you have this feature here?
Follow up to the ADA component. So you had said an audio portion. Is that like an audio like read over? Should you still use the blind interface? Yep. So that's one thing with our training, like all the images or links and stuff like that. We had to put the script text in there, and they went over it. So you can't use just like every man on the block. We have to describe what that is on that alt text so it can move it out. Yeah, I know that there's I know a couple of groups, one usually care that was concerned about the purchasing, but I know there are. And that audio like tool is constantly expanding on the website and looking for those. It's even will give us a report every day that we can go.
Well, and AI tools can help build those descriptions.
questions, any questions from the public? Okay. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. And so are going zoning, sorry. We have the proposed city tree policy project update.
Yes.
Thank you. I was wondering why you were sticking around.
Yeah, so yes, and I get pretty consistent well, so. And usually I have somebody who talks about it here, but I will cover those working as well, do the best I can. So, we are ready, let's go to slide 2. And this, although many of the principles addressed in this, proposed policy are already in action to varying degrees by internal work groups. The policy provides a written guide for both tree canopy preservation and expansion through purpose-driven decision making. Thank you. Policy, will, in the back of the policy, there are a number of species of trees that will be used, taking into account, utilities, et cetera, and not to, plant the same tree over and over again in case that something comes through and years. So that we still have a tree canopy left. The policy applies specifically to public projects and we consider to convey appropriate value on it. So here's the urban tree canopy. Next slide. The policy recognizes and utilizes the information provided by the NASA development study that identifies multiple urban heat islands within the city. Environmental justice, climate change, takes center stage in that study, and with the information detailed in that study, we can affect the target areas of the city that lack canopy and are disproportionately affected by elevated temperatures. Policy will provide guidance for the forestry and capital improvement projects for tree removal and placement. Activities occur and dictates greater public engagement efforts, which I'll talk about a little bit further, increase communication with citizens and stakeholders. This slide shows the NASA study and the multiple data points. Including the non-limited to surface and air temperature, tree canopy cover, and demographic data. And this map identified 17 tracks. Where the canopy is in this grade.
Are those the ones with the numbers?
Those are, yeah, and those numbers I think are the census tracts. That's what those numbers are. But yeah, you say that the bolder numbers are the 17 tracts. And I'll go on to the next slide, please. And then the implementation plan for Park and Forestry Initiative attached to the policy places a priority on planting trees in the street right away within these areas. And if they can't fit within those, then we would go to their parks, and I'll go into that a little bit more as well. And the contracting tree planting that will begin this fall is the first major initiative that will take place in the identified. And I know there was a group of Southeast high school students that had planted trees last week in some of these areas. Well, let's go to the next slide. And then efforts to improve the tree canopy coverage throughout the city, and especially within the heat islands or long-term investments in the community. It'll take a number of years to see the impact of what these, trees that have been planted is based on. Regarding capital improvement projects. So when we design capital improvement projects, the city will retain and protect as many trees as possible within the scope of the project. We have been doing that, in recent years. We also have a city landscape architect design it and city forestry expert as part of the project team. We typically have them review our plans, to, make sure the appropriate species trees are used. And the policy will establish criteria for impact trees based on number and or size, and that will be evaluated on a project by project basis. And public engagement through the project development, again on social media, direct contact with property owners, district advisory boards and city website. Go to the next slide. This is typically, this is just a snapshot of a slide that we have shown, you know, on concept developments as we bring these to the district advisory board. You know, on this, it doesn't really show a lot. You can see the sidewalk there, you know, towards the bottom of the street there. This would be on the east side, I believe it's coming through this street. You know, we're moving the sidewalk towards the back curve to salvage a lot of the trees there along the property line. Our intent would be to come back to the district advisory board when the plans are 50 to 80% complete. So that'll add an extra step, and that could help us identify, as you can see on West Ponderosa Street, to the right of that street, you see where the multi-use path will be, and you can see some trees from the property line, not knowing what the grade is. You know, some of those trees may need to be taken out, some of them could be salvaged. We would know that more in the 50 to 86% point. So we would bring that to the district advisory board at that time again, we can identify those trees. So on to the next slide. This is a slide of a project, 13th Street, 119th to 135th Street. Again, you can see a number of trees that were X'd out that were removed. You can see some other trees that are shaded wider that we did move the sidewalk. Next slide. Efforts will be made to protect existing trees to remain within the project boundaries. We will work with the project, with the art department. We want to come up with a detail that would show putting the orange snow fence around the trees to protect the front, as well as the root zone of the trees to get that out far enough. We will work with the parking on that, created a detail sheet for that. Trees to be placed on capital improvement project will follow the guidelines set forth in the existing landscape policy in the streets with the tree planting plan developed for this project. Again, that goes back to having the correct species planted maybe on the power lines, energy power lines, so we don't grow, we don't want to put an oak tree on the power line and turn, you know, you're going to do the ornamental tree, right? Yeah, we want to be cognizant of traffic signals, pedestrian crosswalks that might have signals for the, you know, trees wouldn't block those, as well as sidewalk and driveways. If space is not available to accommodate the trees within that project, then we would look at, you know, we would make every attempt to plant trees in the project area or close proximity to use some track of this back. Next slide, and then a couple more. This is pretty much area of Pawnee, again, planting of new trees in a little bit darker circles, and you know, we spaced them in where we could get them, as well as how we trees that on site. Next slide. And then this is my final slide. So the city of Wichita Community Business Team has created we filled out a form that I already talked about a little bit before that, so you can go to this website, you are to write any comments you may have on this policy, and I will answer any questions you might have.
What was the timeline for that?
Well, so we have been to we did a city council workshop. We have presented to the Sustainability Board, Immigration Board. We have presented to the Park Board. I presented to staff 3 last week. And other staff can get another advisory boards tonight. We will wrap up the advisory boards next week. And then anytime after that, we will probably take it back to city council. I think we are going to maybe tomorrow or sometime this week. We also have a teams meeting with other stakeholder groups that we will get their feedback.
I just have one comment too. I noticed a lot of the 17 Atlas discussing your a lot of those are pretty significant trees in terms of like the city or has a lot of trees in it. The part of it doesn't freaking be friendly to like develop. So that was my only, I don't know how we would build more trees in it, kind of in city or a lot of the area. My neighborhood is, from what I can tell, I think I love the map a little small, but I mean, I have trees literally around my entire house. So I mean, there's no capacity to build it. Where like out where my parents live, it'd be more in extremities of the city, there's a less street. So I think it also needs to go with concrete is better, right?
It does downtown, you know, with the heat at all stays with downtown, you know, trees in the downtown area. We did a project a while back along Bedford Street, kind of the bank four building, really active, it's like 10-year trees. Cells in their soil that those trees don't look better, they just, you know. Not about 10 hours, you know, just by where it's like, you know. Out by the airport, or you don't want to run trees out by the airport, it's birds, the bar, northeast part, you know, kind of, you know, but, and then, yeah, subdivisions, again, you know, we'll put them in the yard.
I noticed there are Central and also on Maple Street, there's a lot of trees on the side and planting on Maple Street down the center. Where their branches are this square where the trailer semis go through there and cut them out, right? Things like this, or plant something that's higher that won't be out where the truck is cleaning them out. And also there's a lot of dead trees along Maple, 119th Street in the center. Notice that in summer.
Yeah, and we've noticed in the park department here, they would say the same thing. There are a lot of dead trees down there, and we've quite a few a year. You know, pine trees that have died, they are their first priority are trees that are providing endangered.
Any questions? Questions from the public? Okay, we good? Yeah, move on. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate it. The longer we can, hopefully get out by night and yeah, take off. So we have our next application, PDD 2023-0011.
Oh, it's my turn already.
It is your turn. You have 4 more, right? You have 4, right? You have 4.
Yes.
Okay, great.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Christina Reed. I'm an associate planner with the planning department. This is case number PDD 2023-0011. So I'm presenting on behalf of my colleague Brad. So I will try to answer questions to the best of my ability. If not, the agent for the applicant is here, so he'll be able to answer any questions. So the applicant is requesting a zone change from single-family residential to planned unit development to create a new planned unit development. And this is approximately a little bit less than 3.5 acres in size and is located at 1514 and 1530 West MacArthur Road. So just as a background, a planned unit development essentially allows for custom development standards, setback, height restrictions, uses permitted on the lot. And so this proposed PUD would permit a transportation facility for over-the-road trucking and to support existing industrial operations in the area of Wichita. So there's, if we want to scroll down to the proposed PUD site plan. Just so I can reference it. Yep, there we go. So a building is proposed in the northwest corner with truck parking limited to a little bit more than the northern half of the parcel. And then as you can see at the bottom here, there's currently a duplex and 2 single-family residences on the south end of the property. So the proposed PUD, it alters development standards such as parking and setbacks, as I mentioned. So this one, they're proposing 1 parking space per 1,000 square feet of building here. So parking for all retail, restaurant, or similar commercial uses shall be in accordance with the zone code. And then uses in parcel 1 shall be limited to those permitted by right in the limited commercial district, in addition to outdoor storage, vehicle storage yard, and warehousing. And the applicant is proposing maximum building height of 45 feet. And then for signage, the applicant is proposing signage to be in accordance with the, city code for limited industrial. But that doesn't mean, or it means there's still no LED billboard, portable off-site signs, permitted. So the proposed PD doesn't have any screening or landscaping requirements. Staff is recommending that the PD adhere to the Wichita landscape ordinance. And then, since properties to the east and the west of this subject site are zoned as the 5 single-family residential, screening fences, are normally required along those properties. And the applicant is requesting to waive the landscape ordinance for the outdoor storage area. Circling back to parking here, the applicant is also proposing that in addition to the 1 parking stall per 1,000 square feet of building area, that a parking requirement with the Association of Outdoor Storage of Tractor Trailers and Equipment shall not be required. And outdoor storage areas with long-term tractor trailer parking areas shall be limited to the northern portion of parcel 1. While vehicle parking as a use is limited to not more than 72 hours, vehicle storage and outdoor storage allows for motor vehicles, trailers, portable storage containers, or other similar items to remain for more than 72 hours. The long-term parking and outdoor storage area shall be surfaced with dust retardant crushed rock or similar material. The applicant is proposing that the outdoor lighting be limited to 16 feet in height. And the applicant shall provide a photometric plan showing the light pollution does not bleed onto any of the neighboring properties, any pole that exceeds the 15-foot limit. Skipping ahead here, this property is unplatted and has no zoning history. Platting is required prior to the issuance of building permits. When we look at the conformance to plans and policies that we abide by, so if we look at the 2035 Wichita Future Growth Concept Map, the map identifies the area to be appropriate for new residential uses. And so new residential, when you hear residential, you think like housing, but you also have to keep in mind that there's pockets of major institutional and commercial uses likely to be developed in this area as well, based upon market-driven location factors. So in certain areas, pockets of industrial uses will likely be developed. The proposed rezoning is in conformance with the development pattern and land use compatibility location guidelines of the community development plan. The development pattern guidelines say that industrial and major commercial uses should be located in arterial streets with good highway access. This is on McCarthy Road, which is an arterial. Based upon the information available at the time of the public hearing, staff recommends approval of the application, subject to the provisions that are within the PUD and the following conditions. 1, we are recommending approval subject to the condition that landscaping shall conform to the requirements of the unified zoning code. And then PUD shall be developed in accordance with the the application shall refer to certificates, and then those certificates should be submitted to the department. So this recommendation is based on the golden rules that we all abide by. And skipping ahead, as far as I know, I still haven't received, or my colleague Brad has not received any comments on the proposed PUD that's happening there. So this went to the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission on October 26th. And they added an additional condition that trucks cannot be idle for an extended period of time. So I don't know how that translates into, it doesn't, it's just an extended period of time. Yeah. So they did recommend the landscape. Am I right on that? Just making sure. Okay. And there was one woman who did speak at the public hearing. She was concerned about the houses and proximity to the tractor trailer parking.
Did she live there?
No, she was like attending the meeting and she was listening to decide to get public comment. So.
Are there even here that is opposition or that is an opposition for the comments from Dad?
Yeah. I don't know. I that house right in the corner, that's already big on some plan, it's pretty open, the houses are kind of, not, it's a big old piece, he's already passed semi. Make a motion.
I know that, and I thought, well, that's a motion.
I got a question before we go signing off on it. Can you go back to the first picture that you had up there on the? Yeah, that picture. You see that line going on a diagonal through that property?
Yes,
What is that?
that is a property line. That is just straight up a property line. I don't know, we don't know why it's diagonal. That's something that they discussed at MEPC. But yeah, it's technically on site. I'm trying to count the, yeah, there's there's currently 4 properties. But yeah, there's different tax numbers. So within that square, there's technically 4 properties.
That's not a, there's no underground utilities running through that area.
There's no utility easement.
Reason I'm asking, there's a high pressure gas plant down the street from it, and they've got a lot of underground gas on.
Yeah,
I have one running through my property.
Yeah.
So I know it.
yeah, we look for our records and we don't have, there's no utility easements with the property line, so.
And then the other thing, I did hear you mention that they wanted to not be required to have a screen wall between them and the residential.
Correct. They are requesting that we waive the landscaping requirement. And we are recommending as a condition of approval that they implement that.
But they do have a screen wall,
Can I clarify that for you?
please.
So please get your name and address for the record.
Bill Meyer with Boston County, to the applicant. Along the east property, along the west property line, Burn Street, where we have residential houses. West of us, along the east property line, where we're putting that one single family house, and the very south end, we are doing a screening fence that shows up on our plan and where we're proposing to do the screening fences. But where we're sitting here on the north and the northeast part, where it's just the agricultural field, we're asking the way to do it.
Okay, and that is brought up in the field plan.
It's in the DEP,
Okay,
we're showing, so we're asking the waiver, we're really show one.
so the weed doesn't have to be the fence looking at the truck.
Right. But we did protect the residences, and the staff report recommends that we do one requirement. Planning staff recommended it.
Maybe second.
Okay, so there's a motion with the second.
Who made the
Not done yet.
So I was gonna ask, is there a further discussion? It's just a second, so. further discussion.
There you go.
How many trucks are they planning on parking on this 3.5 acre plot?
Trying to run into the quantity on it.
There's not a limit or?
I think we did put a limit on it. I'm going to have to read the answer that, but I think we did put a limit.
I'm thinking 3.5 acre parking lot is real big.
It's not our fault.
Well, that's for the building. Yeah, we were thinking 15, 18.
And then is there a written statement as far as, I know they said idle time, long idle time, what are they, is there a time frame put on that?
There is not. That would be a zoning enforcement issue. I think their intent was overnight, but there was never a time frame put on it by the planning commissioners. Suggested that. And it was said no, it's long term. So that everybody knows, it's kind of hard to tell with a smaller site plan. All the parking has to happen, either more.
Right.
Nothing can happen down there. We do not have any intention today for this to go away and stay. But while we're building the PPP, we went ahead and and set it up, it could be commercial, so. When it's ready, there's gonna be a lot of stuff. Are these local trucks in and out of there, or are they? No, they are local trucks, and most of them are clean highways, and there has been some parking there, if we didn't know, we didn't do that, so there has been some park there, one or two. And he's sitting with us for his friends, he needed a bunch. They're gonna be there for 1 to 2 days. Those are all local residents.
There's a lot of trucks down in that area, I think. Obviously, I'll take them.
So the motion, second, seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Sorry. I just want to make sure that I have this.
With condition.
So NAPC has the additional condition that trucks cannot be idle for an extended period of time and the additional required landscaping. So are you guys approving subject to staff recommendation?
Approve of the conditions listed.
As like something to do with it. Okay.
So, all in favor again, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Also, Jude and Alex, what were your votes, just for the record?
Aye. Approve.
Okay, Alex approved, Jim approved too, you can just nod. Yeah? Okay, passes unanimously. We will move on to the next agenda item, is in the case 58.
All right. This is zone 2023-00050 please. The applicant is requesting a zone change from single family residential to general commercial. And this is located at 526 Southbridge Road. It's a little bit over half an acre in size. The subject site is currently developed with a single family residence. And applicant is requesting the zone change in order to develop the restaurant on site as well as the adjacent site, 544 Southbridge Road, which is already zoned general commercial. It is going to be IHOP, so they're tearing down the old IHOP and they're building a new IHOP. Yeah, it's the last house on Southbridge Road, which is crazy when you think about it, because like you wonder how it's changed over there. But anyways, so this would obviously, if you're going from single family to general commercial, it would obviously permit a lot more uses than its current development. So we're talking substantial changes to minimum lot area requirements, lot width setbacks. But if you look at this site, I'm sure you're all familiar with this site. It's all zoned commercially, and the requested zone change will allow the site to be similar to its surrounding. Because the site, so in this particular area, Southbridge Road is considered to be a local street. And it's not adjacent to residential zoning at all. So it is exempt from the requirements set forth by the Wichita Land Use. And because there's no residential zoning, no streams. The character of the neighborhood is commercial. So in 2015, the Wichita City Council approved the zone change class from single family to limited commercial, with the condition that the site would be platted within 1 year. So it's never platted, so that was. The requested zone change is in partial conformance with the community investments plan. So if we look at the 2035 future growth concept map, it identifies the site as appropriate for residential. I'm not really sure why, because there's no residential nearby. So it abuts commercially zone property and it's considered to be a commercial area. But if we look at the vocational guidelines of the community investments plan, it states that major commercial and employment centers should be located at intersections of arterial streets and along highways and commercial corridors. This is near the arterial street with Taft Avenue. Based upon the information available prior to the public hearings, planning staff recommends the request be approved based on the building rules. And I still have, I wrote this report, so I haven't received any public comment on it.
I make motion. Okay. Any further discussion?
I have a question. There's 50 feet,
single family and one just out of it. Yeah.
Oh. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Alex and June, your vote for the record too. 1 second, we don't see you yet. Raise your hand, or June, you just put it in the chat, just put yes or no, or a thumbs up or thumbs down. There you go, Alex.
Approve.
Okay, great. That was an easy one, so.
Great.
Move on to your next one, 59, I think, yes.
Okay, so the applicant for this one, which is zone 2023-0059. It is, the applicant is requesting zone change from 2-family to multifamily for multifamily development. This is generally located, 2 blocks west of South Meridian and 1/4 mile south of west of Corbett. If we look at the lots all together, they're all developed with one single family residence, and I think the 2 smaller lots are currently vacant, but the larger one on top has a single family residence. So, multifamily residences, the reason why we call it MX 29 is because the maximum density of that zoning is 29 dwelling units per acre. And so they intend to develop 6 duplexes or a total of 12 dwelling units on the site. So according to the site plan, the applicant will build 3 duplexes on the northern third and 3 duplexes on the southern third, and then we have 60-foot wide drive parking area in place in the middle. It doesn't really specify like what the parking plan is in the sense that like you do have requirements of 1.25 parking stalls per efficiency in 1 bedroom, 1.75 parking stalls for 2 bedrooms or larger. So that would be hashed out prior to the issuance of a building permit. And the site plan doesn't show any landscaping, but it is required prior to the issuance of building permits. They are required to have a landscaped street yard as well as parking lot screening. Should the request be approved, there will be flexible setting the landscape buffering along the north and south property lines. In addition, additionally, the compatibility type standard is a zoning code limited to code development 35 or about 2 stories. There are no zoning cases associated with this property. When we look at the conformance plan and policies, this is in conformance to the community investments plan. Because in 2035, which copies the rural concept map identified the subject site as appropriate for residential development use. When we look at the locational guidelines within the establishment of the central area of the city, they encourage infill development for public investment and existing planned infrastructure can be maximized. The plan recommends infill development occur where the scale and intensity is compatible with existing uses. The subject site is in the vicinity of duplex development to the north and south. And then there's another parcel zone, MX 29, about 30 feet west of the subject site. It's also in conformance with the Wichita Plains people plan. And you guys can see in your report why that is. Based upon the information available prior to the public hearing, staff recommends the request be approved based on the golden rules. I did receive 1 phone call. I happened to receive it because I was like the planner of the day that day, and they were in opposition to the requested zone change. I did not put his information. I just forwarded his voicemail to my colleague Brad. So I'm not sure if he dealt with the area, but he was in opposition to development. He said in his voicemail, I oppose duplex development. So, like, I did not get his contact information. So.
I said to make a motion to approve. There's nobody else.
Are there any questions regarding the motion? I do want to ask, I tried this last time, is there anybody for the public that's got this case? Okay, so there's motion approved. There's a second. Seeing no other further discussion, all in favor of approval? Oh,
What's the tower that is indicated?
that's the next one.
No, it's over there.
Oh, sorry, I was fighting with the stapler.
Yeah, that was the second one, so. So all in favor, say aye.
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 June, do you wanna give us a thumb up again? Okay, great. All opposed, the same? That's me.
Thank you.
And your last one of the day.
All right. This is,
There you go.
this is PLN 2023-0030. The applicant is requesting a conditional use to allow placement of a 92-foot tall monopole structure tower at, it's technically, the address is 420 South Seneca Street, but as you can see, it's about, Mentor Avenue there. The site is zoned LC Limited Commercial District. And if we look at the small square that's outlined, that one is 800 square. But the larger, the parent parcel is 0.35 acres in size. So the proposed tower, the reason that we're hearing it today is that it does not meet the compatibility type standards set forth in the unified zoning code. So I did put that in a quote here. So it says wireless communication facilities will not exceed 100 people to the distance of the lot line of the property zone TF3 or zero restricted. So for example, if a wireless communication facility is 100 feet from the line of the property, they cannot exceed a height of 100 feet. So if this was 100 feet away from the next property line, we wouldn't be here in this case. We're just going to approve this, right? We're in this way, correct. In this case, zone area is 19 in the property zone, in the family. Well, they're asking for a 90 feet.
Right.
Yes. Request, conditional use request to be approved. The compatibility type standards must be waived by the property council. And also because it's within Delano, any wireless communication facility has to be conditioned regardless of whether it's 19 feet tall or 19 feet. So the proposed tower would be accessed via the existing driveway off West Mentor Avenue. And the applicant indicated that it will be a full structure. And the proposed tower will be enclosed with a 6-foot chain link fence surrounding the compound. Because of the zoning of the residence, they're going to require solid landscaping. The character of the surrounding area is commercial and industrial on the arterial streets and residential on the local streets. Subject site is within a parcel that is developed over the use of the street supply. Property to the north is zoned general commercial and is undeveloped. Property to the south is zoned single family and developed with a single family dwelling. Properties to the east are zoned single family and two family and are either undeveloped or developed with single family dwelling. And property to the west is owned by the applicant as an extension of that machine supplier facility. There are no zoning cases associated with this property. The requested conditional use is in conformance with the community investment plan because the 2035 Cedar Grove concept map identifies the area to be in a commercial area. So the requested conditional use is not in conformance with the location design guidelines of the Wichita Community Master Plan. The guidelines state that in general, tall wireless communication facilities should be limited to heavy commercial and industrial areas and should decrease in height as the intensity of development decreases, with the shortest facilities being located in commercial areas. Based upon the information available prior to the public hearing, planning staff recommends that the request be denied. This is based on the zoning, uses and character of the neighborhood that I mentioned earlier. Skipping ahead to number 3, the extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect the property. The proposed site is not large enough to accommodate a 92-foot tower. It is not in compliance with the height standards of the zoning code. The height standards ensure safety of surrounding properties to the tower wall. In addition, the tower may have negative visual impacts on surrounding properties. When we skip to number 5 here, it also pertains to the public health, safety, and welfare as compared to the loss in value or hardship imposed upon them.
Approval would promote public interest in growing and maintaining reliable wireless services. Approval could also have negative impacts on public health and safety due to the proximity of the tower to the nearby residential structure, because the tower does not meet the category height standards, which are designed to promote safety of nearby properties should the tower fall. Denial would presumably represent a loss of economic opportunity to the applicant and the owner. As I mentioned before, the requested conditional use of the conformance with the community investment plan, but it is not in conformance with the wireless communication master plan. And at the time of the staff report, staff received one phone call in opposition to the requested conditional use. And this gentleman who called me, he showed up to the MAPC meeting on October 26th, and he spoke in opposition to the requested conditional use. Should the DAB find the conditional use to be approved, it is recommended that the DAB adhere to the following conditions of approval that are listed in the staff report. This did go to MAPC on October 26th and was denied 10-1. And the agent for the applicant is online and please any questions for them. James Martel.
Okay. Do you have any other comments?
I don't have that in the.
Yeah. Let's get rid of that.
Well,
Okay.
are there any other questions from Dad before we give the applicant a chance to speak to? Okay, Mr. Cardinal, would you like to speak on this?
Yeah, that was a good presentation. That went over most of what we went over the first time. I would like to add that this wasn't our first option. It was really the only option in that area. We had tried speaking with the Kansas Masonic Home. They weren't interested at the time. I know they're going through some things right now as well. There's two properties to the south of that Kansas Masonic Home that are owned by the city. I was in talks with them earlier this year around March and April. I think April they stopped responding, but I have reached back out to them and try to open those conversations back up. It's just a vacant parcel with some trees on it. So that really would be a good option if we can get that going with the city. I know that there's some things with KDOT that would have to, be talked about. But yeah, that's really all I have to add.
Thank you for being here, Dad. Questions we have the applicant, if any? I know that we probably have to speak. That's why I stuck around till the end. So we have one person to speak on their case.
I enjoy your own thing.
Hey, I appreciate it. Well, we know who you are, but maybe not correct.
My name is Ben Hancock. I'm from the Galena neighborhood. Feel free to go on and speak to you guys for taking long. Number one, don't let me on this. No shade, November, guys. Go see the doctor. Legally answer to these. By the end of the month. Number two, I don't want this to be a windy issue. This is not my backyard issue. We have 3 cell phone towers in Galena that I know of. There could be more. One's what I call an elbow of the railroad track. It's been there a long time. Plan in place. It's the big one in the middle, but it's in the middle of a place to be the railroad yard. So it makes sense because it's not right next to the house. The second one that I remember being through, anybody goes by Frank University, they'll look straight at the cell car and never see it. It's a light pole. They just fact that the light pole. And the third one is south of Frickrin. You'll look right at it. It's not a super tall one, but it looks like a light pole in the sky. What staff did not realize on this was on my point is the bigger one will come down over it. And south of power must be the sky. Not saying no cell towers, just saying they have to be the sky. And this plan with its funding, never just sky. So my 2 objections to number 2, not decide that required by the letter plan. And number 1, proximity to a single family home, direct into its maybe to the sky.
Motion is denied and according with staff recommendation and the vote taken by the MAPC.
There's a lot of seconds, so we'll on this one. All in favor of denial, say aye.
Aye.
June, we'll see your hand, or you can, okay, aye. All opposed to denial. speak. Denied unanimously. So, thank you for sticking with us tonight. Mr. Cardinal, thank you for being here. Vincent, thank you for being here. We'll move on to the board items, updates, issues, reports. Brooke has, can you put this in there? The next, January, December will be as normal, which is December, what's it?
At the bottom, December 4th.
December, okay. The next one is December 4th, but January, there is, that's what's for next year, so. Who determines, when that's on?
We don't have to
We don't have to,
determine it
okay,
tonight,
just like-
can be the incoming city council member. The sooner we know, the better.
We know.
Be sworn in.
They will be sworn in on the 8th. So.
Which is the
They-
second Monday. Okay, yeah, which,
Yeah, the day that we were very supposed to. Here's sort of what- So how about we plan on by December, whoever the selected tomorrow will have a date for the January. Okay. Any comments from the board? Any?
Go
comments?
vote.
There you go. Go ahead. Okay, motion to adjourn. John and Waller. We are adjourned. Okay, thank you, everyone.
bye, guys.